Hi, and welcome to day two, which is all about the vision exercise. With me, Leslie Strachan. I'm a certified Jack Canfield trainer in the Success Principles, and I hope you had a lovely time yesterday putting your I Want This together. So, the key to this 5-day challenge is to enable you to find your direction in life and therefore also able to help any young people that you come into contact with at school, college, or university as well. So we're going to review success principle number 3, which is about deciding what you want. In order to get what you want, you have to know what you want. And that was the purpose of yesterday's exercise. So we'll all have stuff going in our lives. It's just one of those things. We all have worries. We worry about money and the future. Sometimes we worry about job security. I did for a long time at one of the universities that I worked for. And over the last 4 years, I've been made redundant 4 times. And it made me think, well, perhaps I don't need job security. Maybe I can work for myself. And the other thing we probably worry about is the relationships we have with our kids, with our parents, with our colleagues at work, and all sorts of different relationships. And we worry whether we've said the wrong thing or the right thing, or we've upset somebody. These are all pretty natural things. We also have great concerns about our health normally. It's not unusual for you to be worried about your own health or your family's health or the people who work with you and around you. Certainly from my own perspective, I got diagnosed with pre-diabetes late last year. So I've been on a bit of a mission to actually cure that before they decide to put me on pills. And most of all, post-pandemic has been quite interesting in terms of having to deal with coping with stress, with anxiety, with having to learn completely new technological ways of communicating with people, and having that feeling of isolation because we had to stay at home and we weren't allowed to go out and speak to people and have meals and all that sort of thing. So there's been quite an impact as a coach that I can see for people who are perhaps not quite good at communicating as they used to be, social interactions and things like that. And that's particularly noticeable amongst students that I work with because they've just been having a screen to look at for a couple of years. So whatever you're worried about, it doesn't have to be this way. We are going to show you some coping mechanisms in our other course into how to deal with that self-belief and self-confidence and believing in what you want to do. So yesterday, we looked at what you wanted to do. So you had to decide what you want to be, what you want to have, and what you want to do. And yesterday, we looked at a great big long list of various things. Your list will be obviously very much longer than mine. But just bear in mind that when we were little babies, we crawled after things, we cried for things, we spoke up for things, we challenged the way things were, we got up off the floor and walked, we learnt how to ride a bicycle. And all those things created some clarity. A baby and a young toddler have a clear direction in life. They have an aim and they go for it. And nothing is going to stand in their way. They have some clarity in their lives that has somehow, over the years, actually disappeared. So what happens somewhere along the line? Somebody might have said to you, you're not bright enough. You can't do that. I wouldn't do that if I were you. And my favourite of all is money doesn't grow on trees, you know. And there are lots of things that people would have said to you inadvertently. So you've picked up some signals that have made you go off course. And if you think of that baby in the previous slide, he or she was focused, had a clarity about where they wanted to go. And unless it was dangerous, people would go, yay, go for it. You know, you're getting up, you're standing up, you're walking, you're riding your bike, hooray. There was less around at that time with people saying, you can't, you shouldn't, you couldn't. you won't, and those sorts of things. And you just have to take that image of yourself as a baby again and try and think about, where were you going? What happened along the way that made you go, what we call as coaches, as Jack Canfield coaches, go off track? Babies were on track. You might have found yourself off track for a very long period of time now. You may feel a little bit lost. You may feel that you need to get back on track. And this is what your I want list, or indeed your I don't want list, will help you to do. So the lesson here is, don't live someone else's dream. This is Steve Jobs. We spend a lot of our lives pandering to what other people want of us. Our boss wants this, our partner wants that, our kids want that. And somewhere along the line, we get lost in the whole dream of where you used to be and what you wanted to have. And indeed, I was in the car with a friend on Sunday, and she was saying exactly the same thing, that she is somebody's wife, somebody's mother, somebody's daughter. And our time on this world is limited. We know that life is too short. So why do we live anybody else's dream? It's not selfish, because at the end of the day, you'll become a much happier person if you live your own dreams, but obviously take account of all those around you. It's not that hard. So here's a bit of an inspirational story. This is Haverton South Downs College in Hampshire, where I went to do a workshop for students who were not able to get a work placement or any work experience. And I did something similar to what we're doing now, this 5-day challenge. I did it in one day for the teenagers there. And one lady in particular was just looking out of the window. There was nothing happening. There was no conversation. There was no writing. There was no communication. And it kind of worried me a little bit. And I thought, I wonder if she's okay. So towards the middle of the day, we sat at lunchtime, and I said to her, are you okay? And she said, yeah. Why? And I said, because you're very quiet and you're just staring out of the window, and I'm not quite sure how I can help you. And she said, no, don't worry about that. She said, I was soaking in everything that you said. And I was looking out of the window to actually focus in a kind of meditative fashion about what it was I wanted to do. She then later said to me, my parents want me to go to university and study business management. Now, as a university lecturer, that would be music to my ears if that person was really passionate about business and management, but she wasn't. And I said, so if you woke up in the morning and you could do anything you wanted to do, what would that be? And she said, I want to be out in the countryside, and I want to be with animals, and I want to grow things, and I want to be part of the environment. So I said, also, why are you going to university and doing business management then? She said, because my parents told me to, because I couldn't think of anything else to do. This is not a new story. So after we'd done her I want list and her I don't want to go to university list, and remember that university is not for everybody, she then did a vision board. Then she did a roadmap with some clear avenues as to how she was going to get to where she wanted to be, including working with animals and husbandry and growing things. And I said, okay, well, take that home to your parents, have a chat, see what happens, come back tomorrow, and we'll have a further chat about it. So she emailed me that night, and she said, do you know what? She said, in 1 hour, you've completely changed my life. My parents have agreed that I can go to Sparshot College in Winchester and study the courses that I want to do. So thank you. If I can change one person's life and enable them to have their light bulb moment come on, what will your light bulb moment be so that you can help your students and the young people that you come into contact with, but more importantly, help yourself? So I hope you enjoyed that little story. So here's some interesting world stats for you. There are probably over 8 billion people in the world right now. That was at the end of November in 2022. Over 60% of those 8 billion people in the world don't know what they want. Indeed, over 70% of my clients pre-pandemic had no idea what they wanted in life either. And those stats are even worse now. When you go into schools, colleges, and universities, and you put your hand up and go, hands up, everybody who knows exactly what they want to do with their life. It's probably about 10, 15%. And who does not have a Scooby-Doo what they want to do with their lives? And the rest of the hands go up. That's not wrong. It just needs dealing with. But I was thinking to myself, when I'm in these workshops, how much more productive could we be as a society? How much more could we contribute to society if we did know what we wanted and we were hugely passionate about making a difference in our life, in our jobs, and all those sorts of things? So it's quite an interesting stat, isn't it? So as we move forward from this place of worry, anxiety, not knowing what we want to do with our lives, feeling lost, how about this? How about you reclaim you? It's time to step into who you are. Indeed, if you remember who you are. And what we tend to do a lot of the time, specifically with adults, is to go back to a time when you were 7 or 10 and think about the things that you really loved to do, the things you really enjoyed, and go back and list a lot of those things. For example, I remember I had a shed at the bottom of my garden and we had a blackboard in it and some chalk. And I used to teach the local kids stuff. Nothing much has changed, has it? But it's taken me a little while to actually come back to that teaching aspect. So the solution to reclaiming you is to stop settling for less than you want and to stop settling for what everybody else wants around you. Because if you are a happier, healthier person because of this work, you will be much more value to the people around you than you think. So if you're going to reclaim your power, there's a number of things that you need to stop saying and doing. I can't, I shouldn't, I couldn't, I won't, and all the negative statements that lots of people come out with. So I can't do that because my mum wouldn't like it, or I should really do that, but I don't really want to. So why don't you make a little list now, just stop the recording for a little while and backtrack on all the things that you say to yourselves. I'm frightened to do that. I can't lose weight. I should lose weight. I can't go for that job. I'd feel like an imposter. And it's just a circular negative way of looking at things. But if you could do all of those things, how much better would you feel? And how much better would the people around you feel too? So have a go at that for a couple of minutes and think of all the things that you would normally say. I can't change jobs because I don't have the skills. Yes, you do. There's lots of transferable and professional skills that you could possibly do. You know, I can't cure my pre-diabetes. Yes, you can. You just need to explore how to do that. I have no control over my children, so coach them to be better people. So let's move on. So you've made your I want list yesterday, the things you want to do, the things you want to have, and the things you want to be. And these can be really simple things, like I want to do lots of travel over the next 5 years. The pandemic sort of obviously squashed all that travel. I want to travel a lot. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got a map of where I want to be in the world and in what year. I want to have a nice life. I want to have nice things around me. I want to be able to afford things. We're not talking about being a millionaire, or you could. It's just the sorts of things that you want to have. Do you want to have a nice car? What is that car? You know, or an e-bike or a pedal bike, anything. And the things you want to be. Do you want to be happier? Do you want to be more relaxed? Do you want to be better sister, brother, mother, grandmother, daughter, son. How could you do that? And one young lady said to me at one of the colleges in Ferrum that I taught this at, he and she, well, there was two of them, he and she both said they wanted to have a better relationship with their parents. So they decided during the course of this program to go downstairs and have their meal with their parents and establish a conversation about what they'd been doing that day. Then they went back up to their rooms, obviously, and were gaming or doing homework or whatever they were doing. But it's these little things that make the relationships between generations, if you like, a little bit better. And it only has to be a tiny thing. Maybe they only do it once a week. I don't know now. But it's just that effort from both parties to make it work. Or teach kids how to dinner and then appreciate them for cooking that dinner. It could be anything at all. So here are the 6 areas of your life which need to be balanced. And in our longer course, we go through this in much greater detail, looking at the financial area of your life. How much do you earn? How much would you like to earn? Looking at your investments or your debt, how can you clear them, make them better? So with these 6 areas, I want you to instinctively look at them and think, which area is standing out the most for me? Okay, it may be financial. You might want to improve your financial life. You might want to change careers, improve your career, get back into work, get back into education to improve your life. It may be that you want to talk about relationships with other people. There is a saying that we have in the Canfield community that you are the sum total of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So do they drain you? Do they lift you? Could you stop being friends with people who make you feel a bit depressed? I don't know, this is entirely up to you. But would your relationships be better or worse? I don't know. What do you do for fun and recreation? Because we're all obsessed generally with work and finances, feeling a bit anxious about stuff. But what do you do in terms of fun and recreation? A couple of years ago, I discovered historical dancing. So I do a lot of Baroque and Regency, and now I teach them, which is my fun and recreation because I get to teach still. But I'm also exercising as well, which is a great thing to be doing. In terms of your personal goals, what do you think you'd like to be doing? Do you want to go back to school, to college, to university? Do you want to learn something new? Do you want to start a new hobby? It could be anything, but try something. Or could you establish a new way of working, like walking the dog every morning, or getting the kids to walk the dog every morning, or to feed the cat or the hamster, or something like that? They don't have to be mind-blowingly big. They can be small things which change your life. I teach a lot of adult students at the University of Gloucester. And in order to be able to do their assignments, they decided their personal goals were going to change. So they redesigned their home life to give them space to actually study either first thing in the morning or late at night in order to help them achieve their personal goals. So this isn't rocket science, it's just a redesign of your daily life, which will help you to achieve what it is you want to achieve. It might be that you want to learn the piano. It might be that you want to jump out of a plane with a parachute. Wouldn't do that, but you might. And in terms of your fitness and health, as I mentioned before, I got diagnosed as pre-diabetic at the end of last year, and they said, oh, we're going to put you on medication. I said, no, you're not. So I went off and joined Slimming World and slowly started to change my eating habits to get rid of what I thought was healthy to what actually was healthy. In the process, I'm not now pre-diabetic, and I have lost 11 pounds in weight, which I'm super happy about, since I'm going to Portugal next month, which would be great. So in terms of your fitness and health, could you get out of your home office or your office and literally walk around the block at lunchtime? to get some fresh air, go to the park, go to the shops, have a different view of life when you just go out for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, get away from the computer, get away from all these pings that keep pinging all the time on our laptops and computers, and do something a little bit different. Could be scary, it could be non-scary, it doesn't matter. It's kind of what's important to you. So what you need to do now is grab hold of your I want list from yesterday, of the things that you don't want and the things that you do want. And then in these 6 areas of your life, I want you to try and grab some pictures or images that best describe these 6 areas in your life. Now, what you might find is that you get focused on one particular area, but what I'd like you to try and do is focus on all 6. So here is mine. I'm going to share my vision with you. Since these here are sort of financial and time things to do with my financial and my career life. And it's quite interesting in terms of I want to sell my book. I am the UK's #1 trainer in the Success Principles. I work with schools, colleges, universities, and in the corporate world. I use the Success Principles for teenagers, which you might want to get hold of. I'm working towards 1,000 people going through my course over the next year. And when I feel a little bit underconfident in certain situations, I just look at this and go, just do it, Leslie, just get on with it and it'll be fine. And it always is. Okay. This is my weight goal. I'm pounds away from that now, so I'm super excited about that. I belong to the Canfield Training Group. Our coaches there are super, super, super positive people. I surround myself with them because they lift me on a daily basis. This one was about cognitive behavioural therapy, so I went off and learned a little bit about that. In terms of relationships, this is a great book that I read called What Your Mother Couldn't Tell You and Your Father Didn't Know. And it's about the relationships between men and women and how to deal with different people in different ways. It's an absolutely fantastic book. Online tutoring is what I do a lot. This is my purpose in life, to use my creativity and experience to support and inspire others through teaching, mentoring and coaching anywhere in the world and have fun doing it. What I have started to do is rely a lot on my intuition and gut about the decisions that I make now. So if you feel a bit stressed and anxious, it's going to come out in your body and headaches and stuff like that. So if it feels right to me, I do it. If it doesn't feel right to me, I don't do it. This is a picture of me on the beach. This is where I go to chill out, and I just sit on the beach with an ice cream or a gin and tonic, whatever time of day it is, and I literally just stare out to the sea and just let everything float away until I go off and do whatever it is I'm doing. And then it sort of generally helps to sort of clear my head. So all these are coaching areas. I tend to do small group coaching and large conferences, which I really, really enjoy doing. One day, for some apparent reason, I want to fly on a private plane. Don't ask me. It just came into my head one day, so I thought I'll put it on my vision board. This is an apartment in Spain. I want to spend the winters there when I've stopped working a lot or less. So I'd like a view over the sea and an apartment at the top of a building, and I've envisaged what it looks like inside and everything. I'm super excited about that. Somewhere on the south coast of Spain here for Tenerife, that's probably where I want to be going. So here I am traveling the world. My next projects in terms of travel are Machu Picchu, but there are issues there, political issues at the moment, so I can't go there. Already booked a trip to Giraffe Manor in Nairobi, so you get to feed giraffes sat in the dining room there. My husband said to me, you know they have giraffes at Marwell Zoo near Winchester, don't you, Leslie? And I said, yeah, darling, you're missing the point completely. And this is the Bolshoi Theatre in Moscow. I really want to go there, but obviously for those reasons that we know of already, I can't go there at the minute, but I will go there. This is my 4th vision board in 5 years. And what happens as you achieve one thing, you take one thing off and replace it with something else. It doesn't have to be as busy as this. It could be something as not busy as this. So this was a year 10 student at Chamberlain College for the Arts, as it was known then. It's quite simple. She wanted to have a dream life. She wanted to help people. She wanted to be in nursing. So she decided in the end she wanted to be a midwife and deliver new life into the world. How cool is that? So she decided to do that. She wanted to go to Barton Peveril College in Eastleigh in Hampshire. So she's going to do double health and social care with psychology alongside it. And when she was talking about this, and when you talk to your students about this, the excitement and bubbling up of enthusiasm and passion amongst them is palpable. You can almost feel it. So going from I don't know what to do with my life, I've been really depressed, to having these light bulb moments is really exciting for everybody. So she wants a family when she's a bit older. She wants to get married and have kids of her own. She wants to travel a lot before she settles down with children, and friendships are super important to her. So she went away and finished off her vision board. So it can be this simple, or it can be more complicated, like mine is in the 6 areas of your life. But what I do want you to feel is a drawing of yourself towards one or more of those 6 areas of your life, and focus on that in terms of getting some pictures and images together. When you do have a vision board like I do, and you will have by the end of this 5-day challenge, I want you to put it on your phone, put it on your tablet, put it on your laptop, put it on your PC, put it on the wall, in the loo, in the kitchen, in the lounge. I don't mind where you put it, but it needs to be somewhere where you can see it and focus on the future in terms of what you want. This vision board here I'm showing me is on my wall, just to the left of my computer. And every morning when I sit here before work, I focus on it just for a couple of minutes and think, I'll instinctively know what to do when this starts going. So have a go at that and start looking at some pictures. So tomorrow we're going to look at how to create a vision board. And I expect you're really hungry and excited to get on with this, because I am. I want to help you go on this journey together. So tomorrow we're going to be constructing your own vision board. You may sleep well tonight, you may not, because you'll be a little bit hyper with looking at what's possible for you versus what you have now. And it can be something plain, it can be simple, it could be something super exciting, it could be something scary. So I do hope you sleep well, but if you don't, you'll be thinking about your vision board tomorrow. I'm Leslie Strachan. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 3 for our vision board exercise. Have a really great day, everybody.